How then do we develop SSE? We have to think of the SSE community, not enterprise. It must be community. The community, rather than enterprise, is the dominant mode of organizing life in SSE. The enterprise is subordinate to the community rather than the other way around. The enterprise is a concoction of the neoliberal market economy. In SSE, the towns are not owned by companies. Instead, companies are owned by townspeople. In other words, SSE established community companies, not company towns. The basic unit is the household, not the enterprise. The community is the holding company that has a stake and controlling interest in all enterprises. Sixto Rojas argues that the household, being co-owner of the community holding company, has a claim on outputs just as land and capital are. Okay, in the old times, 1960s, previously, social solidarity economy was called in Asia the integrated area development. And the household holding company was called multi-purpose cooperative. So there is a, I don't want to use the term multi-purpose cooperative because it has a different connotation. So, the third, community holding company is the integrator of local supply chains. Instead of developing individually the micro small enterprises producing the same product and competing for consumer patronage, the community holding company integrates production at the community level and facilitates relationships between producers and households as consumers. What we are doing today in Asia is that we try to focus our attention on individual enterprises. Now, 95 to 99% of enterprises in Asia are micro or small enterprises. If you have a development approach that develops them individually, how many centuries are you going to spend in order to cover all micro and small enterprises in your country? Finally, the CSC resolves the issue of the household's participation in the governance of economic activities. Having its roots in the family, the community holding company can use social norms, ethics, and other social philosophies to influence consumer behavior. Its economic transactions can be guided by core values shared by the households and by the sociological and political relationships. The CSC bears the two fundamental dimensions, ethical values and social dimension-oriented governance. And then its goal is to triple bottom line. The product serves the community. It maintains ecological conservation and economic sustainability. Now, these are cases of community enterprises in the Philippines. Onion, this is the project of ASEC, one members of APEN in Central Luzon. This is the rice supply chain in Iloilo. This is a project of TSKI, Caritas Kausumagan, the president is here of the TSKI. It's another model of social solidarity economy. And we have dairy milk supply chain. Now, what are the basic features of the SSE community? One is ethical values. Basically, people and planet over profit. Human beings control capital, not instruments of capital. There's solidarity in wage rates between management and workers. In some cooperative like Mondragon, the difference between the lowest paid and the highest paid management is 1:5. But in other profit-oriented corporations, the difference between wages is sometimes 1:1,000. Governance dimension. Community-based supply chains are organized and self-managed by households. Inclusive ordinary people participate in decision-making. Benefits and profit shared by ordinary people. The third dimension is social development. Explicit aim of production is community benefit, not for export. Production is basically to benefit the local community. If there's extra, you can export. For this reason, social solidarity economy is a methodology approach for food sovereignty, because it first look into the benefit of the community. Social responsibilities directed at building sustainable communities. Shared responsibilities approach to development, a vehicle for social inclusion and sustainable development. Economic sustainability, because all people are involved in the enterprise, the community enterprise. And the ecological dimension conservation, they have to conserve the environment in order to make their economy sustainable. Now, all these dimensions can be applied to evaluate what you are undertaking right now. Where are you right now in your transition to ECC? You can use this framework because unless you can define where you are right now and evaluate where you are, you will not be able to pinpoint whether you are transitioning from where you are right now to ECC. This was a case that was applied by our partner here, Olingas Development Foundation. And they are NGO partners. You will note that NGO partners are very strong in governance, but we are sometimes weak in social because they didn't have products and services. The private enterprise partners, so SSE can have private enterprise partners. They are weak in governance, they are strong in environment and economic, but weak in ethical and governance aspects. So if you compare where you are right now in terms of the idea, you can see where you are. You can benchmark it. And you can do this on a periodic basis to to measure or to gauge where you are right now. So this is a practical way of knowing where you are. And you can see what are the adjustments that you need to undertake in order to go to the great transition. Now, what are the challenges, and I will end my presentation here, of transition to SSE development? For the households, because they are the primary actors in SSE, the households must have the mindset that they are citizens of the community, that they are owners of the community, and that they own the holding company, or maybe you can call it multi-purpose cooperative. Their basic human rights are respected and defended against injustices. Respect for human rights is balanced by a deep sense of awareness of accountability to one's social responsibilities. Citizens who have more in terms of power, education, information, what resources, physical strength, have greater social responsibilities. Now, for the helping organizations, many NGOs are in this category. The challenge is transforming households into the basic unit and community rather than the enterprise. I have always been putting this into agenda, and it is always misunderstood that I am against enterprise. I am not against enterprise, but the enterprise must recognize the supremacy of the community, that the community must own enterprises and not the other way around. Integration of enterprise to community-based supply chains, where households are both owners and workers, and transformation of the community into a holding company that directs and manages all community-based supply chains. Thank you very much for listening.